I've been a movie guy lately, watching a lot of movies. And I just saw an independent film that had a lot of stars in it. Bill Murray, Sharon Stone, Jessica Lange. I'm surprised at all the recognizable people in this whole movie. It was called Broken Flowers. And this movie talked about a topic I really care about, because I think in some ways and I say in some ways for those of you who've seen the film, not most ways, but some ways, I related to the main character played by Bill Murray. The plot of the film goes like this. Bill Murray plays a guy who's been a womanizer his whole life. And he has been unable to maintain a serious relationship. He continues to be with women much younger than himself. Just living the good life, having a good time. Doesn't think much about it. Then he gets a letter in the mail, anonymously sent to him, that purports to be from an old flame, one of his many. And this old flame told him that, this was in the anonymous letter, in a pink envelope on pink stationery, told him that shortly after these two were together, she found out she was pregnant, decided not to tell him about it because she said their time was over. And so she said, I really had no plans of telling you about this, except now we have a 19-year-old son who's coming to look for you. Thought you might want to know. It was unsigned. The letter was kind of like, if you see him, at least you've got this little heads up. And so in the film, the Bill Murray character, whose name is Don Johnston, and yes, there's a million jokes about his name in the movie. I guess he has a pal who fancies himself an amateur detective. And he tells Bill Murray that he's got to find out who wrote the letter. And after resisting for a while, he finally agrees to go along with this scheme and agrees to make for his friend a list of the women it might have been. He tried to remember all the women he had sex with during the years when they might have produced a 19 or 20-year-old son. Gave all the names, gave all the information he had, and his friend got on the internet and found several of these women. Where they lived, what their names were, what have you. The friend also went ahead, what a pal, went ahead and bought him plane tickets to fly to all the places where these women were, booked him the rental cars, essentially did his whole itinerary for him, set it up for him. And so here's Bill Murray, his character Don Johnston, embarks on this journey, trying to figure out with whom he had a child. And I won't tell you how it ends. But, there's two things going on in this. One of which is that here's a person who's never been much of a family guy, never really been a relationship guy, and there he is kind of having to examine his life by going back and meeting all these women years after he knew them and seeing what happened to them, like how their lives turned out. Kind of picturing what it might have been like to have ended up with any one of these women. And some of these women were pretty sad. Pretty pathetic. Where they'd ended up, who they'd ended up with. It was quite the film. I enjoyed the film a lot. But, of course, they can't help creeping into that somewhat sentimental area, like taking this hardened womanizer and almost seeing him hoping to find his son or the mother of his son. And, of course, then having to go back and it forces him to look at his life when he sees what kind of women he's been with. Like at the time he was busy plowing these chicks. Presumably he didn't really get to know them all that well, and then later on in life when he meets them again, he kind of finds out what kind of women these really were. That's the part I can relate to. If I had to go back 10, 20 years, the women I dated, I do believe that I would find some pathetic examples of humanity, some sad souls out there. Because I honestly do believe something I say on this program all the time, and that is, people who give it up wantonly, give it up for a variety of reasons. They were abused as kids. They were sad or depressed. They had low self-esteem. The low self-esteem I always talk about in this program. And that means that the people you're having sex with who look so good today, in reality, they many times have some kind of problem, and you don't get to know these people. You don't want to know about it. Then if you were forced or felt forced to go on a journey like the one in this movie, then you'd be forced to confront the fact that you'd been with people who honestly may have had some kind of problems or traumas or dilemmas in their lives. That's the part I could relate to. But that's not what I'm here to talk about this hour. The part I could not relate to is the part I'm here to talk about. If I got a letter in the mail, I know you know where I'm going with this. If I got a letter in the mail from a woman anonymously, who wasn't asking for anything, didn't want money, didn't want anything. If I got a letter in the mail from a woman saying, guess what? We have a 19-year-old son. I would not be getting on planes. I would not be renting Ford Tauruses at the airport and driving around strange locations trying to find the child or the child's mother. I wouldn't do it. That's the part I could not relate to. Which is not to say that this wouldn't be real feelings for some guys out there. I do believe there are guys who make it to 50 years old and they're not married and they don't have families, and sometimes either because of peer pressure or family pressure or just because they're plain lonely or depressed, they might feel this way and they might want to do something like that. I'm not one of those people. Because I have high self-esteem, I love my life as it is, and I don't want to get into one of these scenarios where, you know, at 50 years old, my life changes. Now, I'm not 50 yet, and the character in the movie was clearly over 50, but I wouldn't want my life changing. I like what I have. Now, you may call me mean-spirited or cold-hearted or whatever you may call me. I'm not saying this to get you riled up. I really mean what I say. I have a great career. I have a great house. I have incredible friends. I love my lifestyle. I'm not the least bit curious about what happened with any women I knew that far back. At all. I have no interest in taking such a journey, and frankly, the few times I have run into women from that far back, it was not a pretty sight. It was not a pretty sight. Honestly, I have lived the life that I advocate for you on the air. I have been with women who were beautiful and depressed, or beautiful and grew up in an abusive home, or strict home, whatever. I've been with people whose self-esteem is low, low, low. And the result of that is never a good turnout at the end. Never. But I didn't plan to be there later on. I only planned to be there for the moment, and I was. So I had a good time. I don't know about them. I don't think I'd want to go back and review. But I certainly would not find an anonymous letter that would come to me and say, guess what, you've got a kid. It would not motivate me in any way. I just wouldn't have any interest in following up on that. Now, I'm wondering if there's anybody out there like that, like anybody out there who, like me, is childless, by choice, to our knowledge, and, maybe life's different now, maybe life is better or worse than it used to be, maybe you're doing a lot better than you used to, maybe your life is more settled now, whatever. Maybe, like me, you spent so much time focused on your career over the years, and as time goes on, you actually spend more time developing a life outside of your work. That's certainly something I've done. But you see, for me, to do that means I go to Spain on vacation, or I develop a wine collection, or I have my hockey season tickets, and I make a point to go to every game if I possibly can. Now, I develop a life away from radio, because for so many years I worked so hard to get where I am, that sometimes you forget to have a personal life that goes beyond getting off the air at midnight and going and banging a listener. So, at some point in life, you start to broaden your horizons a little bit. But broadening my horizons would not include, like, wondering or musing to myself, I wonder if I have any progeny. I wonder if there's any kids out there that nobody ever told me about. I just wouldn't want to know. And I've always made this announcement, kind of like an Amber Alert. If there is such a person out there, a person I had a relationship with for 5 minutes or 5 days or whatever, and a child was created and you kept it from me, let's not open Pandora's box. Unlike the guy in the movie, I have no interest in going out there and finding out what's out there. I just want to keep it moving forward. Like Toyota, I'm moving forward. That's it. Don't need any complications in my life right now. I'll talk to those of you who think I am reasonable. I'll talk to those of you who've had this experience. I'll talk to those of you who think I am absolutely being outrageous. All of you.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
The radio woman on the radio getting the same ratings that you're getting. She's supposed to get paid the same.
I'm not talking. Well, put it this way. No woman gets the ratings I get.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Chuck on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing today?
Doing okay, Chuck.
I just wanted to comment on your story about the child showing up, because I had the same situation about a year ago. I was in the service. I was seeing this girl down in Louisiana, a Korean girl, and she was great. And she was trying to get her papers, and I knew it. She was good in bed and everything. I paid her for all she was worth till it was too late. And about a year ago, I got a letter from over in Korea saying that she was pregnant. But when she left, she was pregnant, and she had a kid and everything, and it was mine. So I sent her a letter back that, well, I ain't heard from you in almost 15 years. What do you want me to do? I ain't heard anything from her since. I think she's just trying to get back into the U.S.
Well, that's possible. It's also possible she had a child. Do you care?
No, not really. Not if it was my child, she should have told me 15 years ago.
Well, you know what? That's how I would feel about it. A. B. I've told everybody I've ever been with, everybody, I don't want to be a father. I don't.
Well, I'm a father, but...
No, the point is, I didn't want to be a father with the people I said I didn't want to be a father with, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, the point is, I don't know, if you got married and had kids, that's great, but you wanted to do that and you volunteered for that position.
Right.
I've been very clear over the years with women I've known. I don't want to have children. Or I don't want to have children at this time. Or I don't want to have children with you. You couldn't be clearer than I've been. So if anybody did that, behind my back, without my knowledge, whatever, well, certainly women have the right to do it, but I have the right to not care.
Well, I think if she actually was my kid and everything, and, I have 2 kids right now I pay child support for because I'm divorced. I have no problem with that. I know they're my kids. We got DNA tests. for my kid.
Yeah.
But come 15 years later, so you got a kid, he wants to come see you. No, it ain't going to happen. Prove it's my kid, then I'll do the right thing.
Yeah, well.
That's how I feel about it.
Well, would you take a DNA test to find out?
Yeah, I would.
Really?
Yeah.
See, well, my attitude, if I had a chick in Korea writing me letters like that, I think I'd just shred them, toss them.
Well, that's what I did. I mailed a letter back. So, okay, what do you want me to do? And I ain't heard from her. This was over a year ago.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it was mine. I think she's just trying to come back.
Well, you might be right about that, Chuck. Alex on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, I was curious to know if maybe you never felt the need to be a father or whatever because you essentially are to 3 million listeners.
Well, that's certainly a good reason. But I haven't always been the dad people never had. I've done various kinds of radio programs over the years. But certainly any desire I would have to counsel a young person, I do it here.
Right.
I don't need to put my DNA out there and see what comes back.
I was just curious because you said that you wouldn't go looking for somebody, but what would happen if somebody, he didn't give you a heads up and a kid knocked on your door?
Well, that was another show we did. I did talk about that, and I answered that question. I'll answer it again for you. I have said, don't ever knock at my door, because there was not going to be a tearful reunion, or a reunion. There's not going to be a tearful meeting. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like Oprah. We're not going to get together and have a big group hug. It's just not going to happen. And nobody can make me feel that way.
Well, no.
And I just don't feel it. I really didn't want to do this. If someone took my genetic material and created a child out of it, I didn't participate in that. Uh-huh. I didn't ask for it. In fact, I've been very specific in saying I don't want that to happen. And I don't want my life to be changed. I really mean that.
It just seems that you have a very natural ability to kind of counsel young men and women alike, and I was just curious. Well,
and that I do make myself available for. I do make myself available for that on the radio. Right. I make myself available for that for people who are needing mentors in the broadcasting or media businesses. I mean, I worked in junior achievement for a year and worked in an inner city school teaching kids how to become financially successful. So it's not that I don't like kids. I love kids very much. But I don't want the responsibility hanging over my head 24 hours a day. And I never did.
Oh, I think you do a great job.
Well, thank you.
So, thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Carrie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Dad. How are you?
I'm doing okay, son.
Dad, I got a problem. I kind of might be in the same situation. I went to Mexico about 10 years ago and, had a good night with a female friend, and although she don't know me and I haven't spoke to her. And,
so you met her in Mexico?
Pardon me?
You met this chick in Mexico?
Yes, sir. I was down there having a good time, and one thing led to another, and a couple rounds of here and there, and I could have a little me running around there.
How do you know? I mean, did you get a letter or a phone call or anything?
No, not yet, thank God, but there is still a possibility. And
so every night you go to bed thinking there's a time bomb ticking out there?
Yes, basically I do, and I'm happily married. I got a beautiful daughter, and like you said, I would not want anyone coming to me saying, hey, here's a little Jose, he's yours, and no, thank you.
So the reason you think this is because you didn't use a condom? Is that the deal?
Yes, it is.
And you didn't use a condom because you were in another country and you figured I'll never see this chick again?
Pretty much. I was young and stupid. I didn't know about you at the time, so now that I do, of course, I wouldn't do it now. But
did she know your name or where you live or anything?
She did at one time, yes, but I've moved since then many times and basically settled down here in California. And I was in the military. And now, since I'm here in Cali, might come up through the military. They can find out all kinds of information if, per se, someone say, hey, I got a baby from this guy in this branch, and all I have to do is go there and look it up.
Wow. So you think about this, it sounds to me like all the time.
I don't want it, but it could happen. It's still in the back of my head. I hardly ever think about it, but since you brought up the subject, yes, now I am thinking about it a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I say, you might enjoy seeing this movie, or maybe you wouldn't, but I saw this movie and made me, think about this, and just confirmed how I feel, which is that you wouldn't see me buying plane tickets and flying out to see all the chicks I banged 20 years ago to see if I could figure out which one's the mother of my child. Preposterous idea. I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't.
But I'll bet there are guys who would.
Not this guy.
Okay.
I'm happy just the way I am, just like you are, sir. You're doing a great job for us all out here.
Kerry, thank you very much for the call.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
Your listeners are like the stupidest people I've ever heard in my life.
By the way, attention advertisers, you too can reach this prime demographic.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show. And here I am. I saw a film called Broken Flowers with Bill Murray. And it's a film about a guy who's been a womanizer all his life and gets an anonymous letter that says, yeah, you and I had a thing, 20 years ago, and after you were gone, I was pregnant, and I decided to raise the kid on my own. And a friend of his convinces him he has to find the anonymous letter writer and find out who the mother of his child is. I can't imagine doing that. Eric on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
Great.
Great. I was listening to the radio program here that you have, and I'm a student at Pasadena Community College, and I kind of developed a theory on why you feel this way about kids. You have?
Okay.
Yeah.
So a 33-year-old community college student has come up with a theory. Go right ahead.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of smart and everything. So I was thinking, you must be gay.
Why would you think that?
Well, I mean, you've been married 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And,
do gay men marry 4 women?
Well, you obviously can't get it right. That
doesn't make somebody gay.
Yeah, I mean, you tried it with women. It's not working out for you. There's something inside of you that's screaming out, hey, I'm gay.
Actually, that's not the deal, dear. Sweetie.
Hey,
honey.
I'm a community college student here. I know what I'm talking about.
I know. At 33, you're in community college.
That's right.
Didn't Rodney Dangerfield make a movie like that where an old guy goes back to community college?
Hey, that would be a good movie.
He should have.
Yeah, I should star in that movie.
Right. And there you are with all the guys who make $18,000 a year, and you're in the 13th grade.
Well, almost. I mean, I make $15,600. But, but I'm getting there. I'm moving up.
Yeah, I can tell. All right.
What?
Thank you for that. 1-800-5800-TOM. This is Sean on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
What's up, Big Daddy?
Not much, Sean.
Man, I love that last guy. That was a great theory. I'm going to have to roll with it. I think
you must be gay. You got to be gay.
No, but I do have a theory, and I'm just going to poke it at you. I don't know what you're going to say about it, but I'm just curious. How was your relationship with your father?
Lousy.
Oh,
yeah.
I kind of felt that way.
I've talked about that on the air. That's not a secret.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't get your show all the time, but I kind of figured that maybe the reason why you feel this way about not wanting to contact a possible child in your life is because maybe your dad never gave that to you, and
gave what to me? My dad. Wait. I'll discuss it with you. My dad never gave what to me?
Your dad was never that type of person, I should say, to go out, to care enough or want to be a part of your life. Maybe that's how you felt.
Well, my parents were married until my dad died. My dad was home. My parents were not divorced or separated.
Right.
They were together. Our family was together.
Right.
My dad was a workaholic. He worked as many as 3 jobs at any given time and was not around a lot.
So you basically never had a relationship with him, even though he was home home and part of your household. You
basically because he was a workaholic, you never had any time with him, or
no, you're right. I really didn't. Now, understand, I have a brother who's 10 years. Well, I'm saying something here. I have a brother who's 10 years younger than I am, who has a son.
Right.
And he did have a better relationship with my dad because by the time my brother came along, my dad didn't have to work 3 jobs.
Right.
And was home more.
Right.
And my 2 sisters have children as well.
Right.
But I myself have never had an interest in that. In a way, I took after my dad. I focused myself, became a workaholic myself.
Right.
But
kind of picked up where he.
And I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do to a kid what he did to me. I'm a workaholic, and I did not want to have a child who I would then abandon or be too busy to deal with or just be cranky all the time. So I made a point of not becoming a father. Now, everyone's got their own reason for doing things, and I do believe in life, you can't have everything. You have to make choices.
You're absolutely correct.
And I chose my career, which I love. And
right.
I think people who try to do both don't do either one well.
Right, I hear you, and I completely agree with you. My question would be, let's say there is some kid out there that's your child, beloved child, that you never knew about.
Right.
And he really wanted to contact you. Don't you feel that child has a right and a need?
No, well, he may have a need, but he doesn't have a right.
Right. He does have a right to meet you if he really...
No, he doesn't have a right.
He doesn't have a right to meet you?
No.
Huh.
No.
Well, all right, Tom.
What makes you think he has a right to me? He may have a need.
Maybe, I don't. Maybe a right is a wrong way to put it, but like humanitarian. I mean, you brought this child into the world.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I told every woman I was ever with, I don't want to have children. What would you do if you got pregnant? And they said I'd have an abortion. That's what they said.
Did you? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
so if somebody said that to me and then went ahead and did the opposite, I'm not responsible.
Right, but Tom, I mean, from your own teachings, you should know that you can't really believe anything that a woman says.
Well, that's my point, though. It doesn't matter whether it's believable or not. I was honest. I said what I wanted, and I lived my life accordingly. If somebody was dishonest, I don't owe it to anybody to make up for the dishonesty.
Well, I could see that point to the woman, but I think that you're kind of the child suffers and. Well,
Mom should have thought of that before she decided to have a kid without me.
Well, yeah, you should have thought of that.
So if she made that mistake, she should take responsibility for what she did. But I didn't do it.
No, but you should have known that women are creatures like that.
No, that's fine. But I made my point. Well, we can't even put that on the air, pal. Unbelievable. 1-800-5800-TOM. By the way, you couldn't hear what he said, but I used a condom in most of these cases, so there. It's Ernie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Tom. How are you?
I'm okay.
Hey, have you done the math? Have you actually tried to figure out how many women you've banged over your life?
I tried. I lost count.
What number could you get to? Give me a ballpark.
It's in the 3 digits.
3 digits. Okay. So, what do you think?
Maybe it's the 4 digits, but I think it's the 3.
What do you think the chances of an illegitimate child being out there?
I think well, put it this way. I've used condoms religiously, but I do know the condoms are imperfect.
Right.
I do think it's certainly mathematically possible.
You could have slipped one past the goalie.
Could have, but here's the point. I've been a public figure most of my life.
Right.
And so it's my guess that if this happened, somebody somewhere along the way would have contacted me at some point. That's just, now again, maybe I'm wrong, but I've been a public figure for a long time. For Christ's sake, I was recently on Good Morning America. You can't miss me. Everybody knows where I am.
Yeah, you put yourself out there, obviously.
I do.
But when you do that, it's like walking the plank.
How so?
You're responsible. In some sense of this, you put, just because you tell these women that you don't want to have a child, you're still participating in the act of having sex with them.
Well, again, what am I going to do, live in a bubble?
No, but I mean,
of course, you have sex, you take a chance. What am I going to do? Say, my God, I've got all this money to protect, I've got this career to protect, and I don't want to be a father, so I'll be the 50-year-old virgin. You know, I'll just stay celibate my entire life.
Well, I think you understand what I'm saying. I mean, the whole thing, if you're going to play, you're going to pay. It has to fall.
We're not even talking about the paying part. I'm not even talking about the money here. By the way, I've always said I would live up to whatever legal responsibilities I have, but I don't want to get involved in the specifics.
But that's the whole point. I mean, you're having sex because you enjoy how it feels. You enjoy how it feels.
But you understand, I do not have to get involved in the specifics. There is no law, and there is no requirement that I ever get to know anybody I don't want to get to know. Period.
But that's not the point I was trying to say.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to tell you that if you're having sex, if you're enjoying the sex having sex with these women, and one of them gets pregnant, there has to be something in you biologically that says you're going to step up. I mean, the fact that you're morally abandoned. No. But you take yourself out of it you take yourself out of the situation morally. Completely. Because morally, I did the right thing. I made it clear up front that I don't want to have children. I love children. I just don't want to have any of my own. I have said to everyone, if you have any doubt about how you feel about this, please don't have sex with me. Please don't have a relationship with me. Please. I've made it really clear, and I've been very upfront about this. Anybody who said yes, 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 and then went ahead and did what they wanted to do, they are responsible for the mess that was created, not me. Well, I listen to your show, and I listen to what you say, and it's interesting how you're able to pick and choose the battles that you want to play in.
No, everybody can pick and choose.
I understand, but I think that you're missing the whole point of what's the reason we're out here. You know, what's the reason we're alive for?
I don't think you know what the reason is. This is your opinion.
I agree, and this is obviously your opinion, but I mean, if I have a child out there that I don't know about, I wouldn't be real interested in meeting and finding out and having a loving relationship with the person, but I feel like it's my responsibility to step up.
Well, that's how you feel, and that's what you should do if that's what you think, but I don't feel that way. Now, I think if you went to a woman and you lied to her, I love you, and I want to be with you forever, just to get laid, and then later on she gets pregnant because she thinks you love her, you have different moral responsibilities from the person who says, understand something. I'm a cold-hearted bastard. I don't want children. You want children, don't have sex with me. Then they say, okay, and they sign on and they have sex with me anyway. That's different.
It's a good point, and I think what you just said is completely true about yourself. I mean, you're letting them know exactly who you are and what you think.
Everybody knows who I am, and those who haven't had the conversation with me personally have heard it on the air.
But I think it'd be better for the children not to meet you.
I agree with you. The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. I have less than a minute for Jose. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Hi, how you doing, Tom?
Still good.
All right. You're my daddy, you know that, right?
I know.
Hey, I got something to say. Back when I was living in Connecticut, I was messing around with this girl, and her boyfriend was in jail, and she came out to be pregnant. And I did the math, and it came out to be, that it should have been mine, but I never had no DNA test on it, And she pointed the finger to him, saying that he was the father.
And he bought in. Amazing. Might be you. Our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com, or listen to us online at fmtalkeye.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.